Maradona, Carmen, aiutici tu.
And benvenuti, fellas and bellas all over the world. Welcome to another episode of the Napoli Rant. I am Raff and Bizz, joined by my co-host, Raffa Rispo.
What's up, Raff and Bizz? Come stai oggi?
Tutto a posto, come sempre. Welcome to you, welcome to all of our listeners. Let's get this rant on the road as Napoli defeat AC Milan at home 2-1 to keep their second place position, stay 3 points behind league leaders Inter Milan. Finally, a nice little win, Rafa, right? I mean, boy, did we need this one, right? I really feel like we needed this one.
We did. Going into the international break, we tied with Venezia on the road. It was dismal. It was, it was worrying. We it gave me the flu.
Yeah.
We rebounded well here. Flying start, right? Politano in the second minute. Yeah. Very nice.
A goal quick enough to put a whole Instagram reel for a minute and 2 seconds there. That
exactly.
Was really cool.
Very
cool. And from Politano, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Who takes a shot, I mean, right near the post between 3 defenders. I mean, wow.
Yeah, he had to muscle through those defenders, which
3 tall guys.
Yeah. And good defenders too, by the way, and it was a nice ball from Di Lorenzo. Just the best possible start. The best possible start at home that you want. It's against Milan. It's against a Milan that are notorious these days for having crappy first halves and then sort of coming back. So the last 3 wins that they had were all from really terrible starts, and then they would rebound from there in the game, late in the game, which they almost kind of did here, but it wasn't enough for them. But Napoli, honestly, this was really big. I mean, the draw against Inter that we went to, the win against Fiorentina right after that, and then the dismal draw against Venezia. To have dropped points here would have been really, really bad, especially since Inter won their game right before we played. They beat Udinese, who also mounted a comeback and almost came back against them, which would have been crazy. And also the fact that Atalanta lost earlier in the day to Fiorentina. So now not only do we stay 3 points behind Inter, but we also have a little wiggle room in second, right? 6 points now ahead of Atalanta. And that effectively ends Atalanta's scudetto run. I mean, it's not impossible, but, they have to rebound 9 points on Inter, 6 points on us. So it's definitely a good position that we're going into this weekend against Bologna in Bologna. It's a another big weekend that we're facing.
Yeah, for sure. And it was definitely good to see. Well, aside from getting a win after these 8 games, it was good to see Neres back in the field in pretty good form. And
yes,
there was a few videos of him online doing those jukes along the side. We saw Anguissa back on the field, which so-so game in my opinion. Spinazzola was back, even though I think he.
No, Spinazzola was hurt.
I'm sorry, Spinazzola was hurt. Who came back?
It was McTominay who missed.
McTominay missed the flu because of the flu.
Yeah, the flu. So
Spinazzola was hurt. Oh, that was Spinazzola was hurt during the break in training again. What's going on in training, Rafa?
That's it. I mean, you're not seeing injuries occur during matches. It's all during the training. Conte has got these guys running ragged.
What are they doing? Not the game.
It's intense, dude.
Not the game.
He's in the practice.
Practice.
Not talking about the game.
I mean, what's going on there, man?
All
of our injuries were during training. All of them.
Every
Except
one of
for
them.
like one of them, I think. Lobotka got taken out the other day.
Well, Lobotka did get taken out against Milan in the 81st minute, apparently for an injury. And God forgive me, I haven't even checked up on him. I have no idea what's
I
going on.
haven't seen anything. I'm not sure unless I'm
It
missing
might just have been
but that
some
could be
sort
good
of
news.
it could
knock
be.
or something. Maybe he'll be all right. I'm sure if it was anything serious, we would have known by now.
Oh,
not only through the
absolutely.
news, but every Napoli tifoso in the world would have been, just expressing their frustration. That's the last guy we want to lose on the field is Lobo. But with Gilmore now getting these extra minutes, you kind of see him coming along. He had an assist. He was at the end of one of those goals. So it's good to see him coming along, because I was kind of worried of like, is Gilmore, is he not the guy we thought he was? But he seems to be coming along little by little, which makes sense, right?
Yes,
the more continuity,
absolutely.
the more informed you're going to become. So we see his that little kind of like side pass. He did it again, and it's very effective for him. It seems as if that little kind of side pass to Lukaku, setting him up for a shot or a goal, which in this case was a goal. So I kind of like that. I kind of see where he can really be effective on the field and help us out, offensively. So, but it was just kind of good to see the old crew back on the field, and I'm really hoping that they're going to get momentum off of this, because Rafa, I'm still a little worried. Again, I know we are famous for being optimistic, and we are, and I think we remain that
famous
way.
or infamous. Which one?
I guess it depends who you're talking to.
Yeah,
Huh?
right. We could be both, right?
Right. Some people love us for it. Some people hate us for it. But here we are. Love us or hate us, this is what we do. But
right.
Lately, I honestly, like, I'm still, I have to admit, and I hate to send out any type of anxiety to the world. I hate to put this out in the air, but I'm still not very comfortable. I'm still like, hold on, what's gonna happen? Bologna is coming up. They're red hot.
Red hot.
Vincenzo Italiano certainly has our number. So I think Monday's going to be difficult, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk a little bit about Milan here. Again, we opened up quick, which was maybe a good thing at home. Maybe it gave our team a little bit of confidence. Maybe it made Milan, maybe it put Milan in their head a little bit. I don't know, but
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, at the end of the day, we come out with a victory. Meret gets a stop, a big stop. I know it wasn't the most extravagant save on a penalty kick, but nonetheless, it is a save that saved the game. We saw a goal from Lukaku, awkward position.
Oh, it was a great goal. It was a great goal. I was gonna bring it up while you were talking about Gilmore's pass to him. Lukaku took that ball in a very awkward position and struck it with just enough force to give a weird bounce and get in. 400th goal of his career professionally, club and country. It was nice that he scored it with Napoli at home against Milan too.
Absolutely.
Once again, scoring goals in the big games, and it proved to be a match winner, because the Luka Jovic goal to make it 2-1.
Yeah.
And once again Lukaku comes through, and this is 11 goals, 8 assists now. And I'm sorry, he's become super important for this team, and he 100% is not the same Lukaku that he was before, but he's adapted into this new sort of player, a new type of striker, where he's going to poach, but he's also going to provide great passes. He sent another ball he sent out to wide to I think it was Politano in the first half, which I was just amazed by it. And good play overall. Everybody played really well. I feel who started the game, and it was just an overall I mean, especially in the first half, Milan had nothing. Milan really had nothing in the first half at all. They couldn't string passes together. They left so much wide open space. Like I couldn't so I admit I watched the first half almost in the entirety. The second half was difficult for me to watch. I was on the phone because we were at my mom's 70th birthday. So
Happy birthday, Mama Rispo.
Mama Rispo's birthday was February 28th, but this was the only time we could do the party, and it was, of course, during Napoli Milan. So
happy belated Mama Rispo.
It was a great occasion. It was a great. Actually, it's funny. I should tell you the story really quick. My brother-in-law Andrew, he texted me because he was at another table, and he goes, I'm gonna prank your dad and tell him that Milan scored in the first minute, like before we turn the game on our phones. And I turned around to the table he was at, and I nodded, and I said, yes, do it. So he did it, and my dad went freaking nuts. Antonio Rispo, the father of Fuorigrotta, he was like, no, you don't tell me that shit, baby. No way. So then Rocco turned it on, and he goes, no, the game didn't even start yet. And he goes, oh, okay. So then my dad goes, okay, let me go to the bathroom before the game starts. So he went to the bathroom, and before he got back, Napoli scored. Politano scored. So me, Rocco, my other two sons were sitting with me. Andrew's here, and we just everybody knew we were watching the game, but we shocked everybody by celebrating the goal right away, right? And as we're celebrating the goal, my dad comes in to the room from the bathroom, and Rocco runs up to him and goes, no, we scored, Politano 1-0, and he's like, no, you played with me. No, he didn't score. No, are you joking with me?
Right.
So I ran up to him and was, no, there's no joke here. Look,
this is real life. This is not a drill.
He goes, oh shit, I thought you were playing with me. It was funny. It was one of those you had to be there moments, but it was really, really fun. But I got to watch the whole first half, which is great. I watched snippets of the second half. I did get to see the penalty kick, the foul. It was a penalty. Billing kind of got crossed up between, I guess, with Teo Hernandez. My dad was insisting it wasn't a foul, but that's what my dad does. Anything that my dad. Anything that goes against Napoli, my dad thinks the referees are against them. We all know that. But then what happened was I saw the penalty, and then I saw the goal they scored. And honestly, I agree that the penalty was the right call. And it was a good save. It was a good save by Medet. It was a bad shot by Santi Jimenez. I honestly expected Medet to save that. Like once the ball left his foot, I was very okay, Medet's got this. It's one of those, and you have to give credit to Medet because he has saved 3 of 4 penalties this season, right? So all credit to him for sure. But that's one of those saves where any keeper guesses right, they're going to save it.
Yeah. It was right next. It was practically in centered,
Yeah, it was not a good shot at all by Medet. Not at all. So, I'm sorry, by Santi Jimenez. Pulisic, the normal penalty taker, giving it up to Santi Jimenez, which was very strange. I don't know. One of those things where you're scared because it's Milan. You know that Milan have quality players, and they've won 2 in a row or 3 in a row at this point. But it's in the manner of which they're getting those wins, and the manner of which they're playing just terrible. They're playing terrible.
Do you think if Pulisic took that shot, we'd be singing?
Right now? Yeah, I do, because Pulisic only missed one professional penalty kick in his career, and that was this season. But like, he's like, what is it, 13 of 14 on penalties in his career.
Yeah.
So he's like Lukaku-esque with penalties, where he's only really missed like one.
Gotcha.
But it came out that Pulisic gave it up to Santi because he wanted Santi to get back in it because it was 5 games without a goal for him. So, I get why he did it, but I think in this case where it's a second half, you're a better team in the second half. Leao came in and was making moves. They obviously had Napoli like, I wouldn't say on the ropes, but they were definitely coming forward. I think Pulisic just goes, look, let me take this one, to get us to 2-1 with a half hour left. You know what I mean? And then, it would have been a 2-2 game. But
Yeah.
So did we get lucky? Yeah. Is there cause for concern? Maybe. I mean,
Raffa.
against Bologna, we can't. So here's the thing. I'm very worried that Napoli have been playing this tale of two halves recently, where they'll have a great first half or a great second half, but then lack in the opposite half.
Right.
So against Bologna, who's won 6 in a row in all competitions now, on the verge of a Coppa Italia final, one of those wins being against Milan, the other win being against Lazio 5-0, Bologna is a good team. And like you said, Italiano tends to have our number. I know we beat Bologna 3-0 earlier this season, but that was game 2 of the season.
Yeah.
That's where
That was
Bologna
before they
had
got-
Champions League and Coppa
Right.
Italia. And so this is a driven Bologna team that I am afraid of. Now, if we can get past this game, I'd say with a draw at least. You go on the road, you draw to Bologna after them winning 6 in a row. I would be very happy with that, regardless of what Inter do, because we'd still have time to catch them up, but we cannot lose this game. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said that I was fully confident for this. I mean, for this Monday match. I mean, 1, it's a Monday match. 2, it's against a red hot Bologna, and 3, it's against Vincenzo Italiano, who seems to have our number. And like you said, yeah, we beat him in the beginning of the season. I'm sure we could probably do it again, but considering our form over the last 8 games, I have a cause for concern. I know I've triggered some emotions with my Conte question mark. Again, it's Conte question mark, not Conte out. I appreciate the patchwork he's done, given so little resources. But again, we even saw the last game, 4 subs in the 80th, in the 80th minute of time. People who are tired, people who are getting injured. I guess, listen, he's used Gilmore, he's used Billing, he's used Raspadori now. Maybe we could have used Raspadori again. Why didn't he come in at some point? Billing, I feel bad. People have been giving him shit for his performance that game, but he got duped into that penalty. I feel like, it was a slick move by what's his name to put his legs in between Billing and I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, Teo.
But I just, again, I don't see how a player can be effective coming into the 80th minute percentile of the game. It takes time to warm up, to get into the flow. On top of that, the amount of pressure in a game like that versus Milan against points that you really need, it's got to be tough mentally on a player. So I still don't agree with how Conte conducts some of this.
Yeah,
really,
so I guess that was my question. My question for you was going to be, I know how last week you had your questions about Conte.
Yeah.
Are you still feeling that way? I mean, if you ask me, Conte is a manager that is so able to adapt in situations. Like now we had Nedis come back, so he changed back to the 4-3-3,
Mhm.
and we were able to go to the 3-5-2 without Nedis because of Raspadori, and he didn't get any minutes in this game, but he really played well for the national team and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, Conte reverted back to that 4-3-3, and we won against Milan.
Right.
Uh, are you still questioning him? I know you said Conte maybe, but like, what are your feelings now?
I mean, they're still relatively the same. My feelings are this. My feelings, it's. I'm concerned of the overall health of the team in like mentally. You know what I mean? Like how do I get it without sounding like a pessimist or like I'm going because I'm not against Conte. I'm not against. He's a great
Yeah,
coach. I
yeah.
mean I have nothing against the guy.
You're not anti-Conte. You're
No,
not
I'm not
Conte
anti
out.
Conte at all. I'm not Conte out. I want him to succeed. If he's going to stay on the team and they're going to build a project, so be it. But it's Napoli and their style, right? And is this a good style for us? Is this something that embodies what Napoli is? Now, I know he had to take over a team that lost a lot of fucking superstars.
Mm-hmm.
We lost a lot of key players. Or I mean, not a lot, but a
No,
few
no,
that
we
were
we
very
did
important.
we did Mario Rui, Zielinski, uh, Osimhen, and then eventually Kvara. Yeah, we did.
Kawada, yeah,
That's
and
fair
not
to
to
say
mention
that.
some of our depth on the bench,
Right,
like
right,
Ostigard and
right,
and things like that. So
right.
like it was a tough job for him to take on. So I respect him for that. And I think he's overachieving, but not. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He had to do a lot of patchwork. He had to convince players to stay. He had to convince players to buy into what he's trying to do. Name especially from Di Lorenzo, our captain, which was huge. I mean, he convinced Cavada for as long as he could until Cavada just couldn't take it anymore. I mean, I think the temptation of all that money just had to get to this young player's head, and I don't blame
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Go live out your career, make yourself
Mm-hmm.
wealthy. That's fine. I'm not hating
Fitting
on
time
that.
to do it, but definitely
Yeah,
understandable.
but
Yeah.
understandable, right? I mean, so and the fact that he made Napoli defensively sound again. Um, he turned Anguissa into a I mean, he really unlocked Anguissa. And Anguissa was always a beast for this team since day one. He's always contributed in a way. But this year, I mean, he was absolutely on fire. The injury was unfortunate. But again, before Anguissa got injured, he was visibly exhausted on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody keeps saying this. So it's like, I don't know. Is it because we have a show and we're up here and we're being vocal about it? I don't know what it is, but I'm holding everybody accountable. I just think, like, when you see a player that's visibly exhausted and then we're getting all these subs in the 85th minute, I have to question, what is the motivation here? Do you not believe in your bench? Because Raspadori.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. I mean, I think there are a few players that Conte can believe in, and
Mhm.
those are the players you see regularly get subbed in, like Raspadori when he does, Billing when he comes in, Gilmore, Simeone when he comes in, Juan Jesus. But the thing that Mazzocchi, but the thing is that for me, is this bench. Like, is Conte doing this on purpose to show, hey, this bench is okay. It's not good enough to sustain another tournament, And my thing is too is I think your assessment is fair and valid. I just also think that Conte deserves another season to show with another transfer market in the summer,
Mhm.
you know. Okay, we had to rebuild this team from a 10th place position with no Europe. Now we have to get them back into Europe. That was the goal. Well, it just so happens that we're fighting for Scudetto.
So say we either, regardless of whether we win the scudetto or not, we're going to Europe next year. We're going to the Champions League next year. It's not just Europe; it's the big show, right?
Right.
And now, because we're not in Europe, we were able to get what we could get without overdoing it. But now that we are in Europe, because let's just face it, it's a matter of time where we clinch the Champions League.
Right.
Now we have to get better and deeper. And I think with a deeper Napoli for Conte to play with, I think that's the only fair way we can fully assess Conte. Like, obviously, if Napoli win the Scudetto, Conte will go down as a legend in Napoli, whether he stays or goes year 1, year 2, right? Whether he stays or goes, Napoli, Conte is only one of four managers that won a Scudetto for Napoli, right?
Right.
But even if we finish second and make the Champions League, to go from second to go from 10th to second, competing for Scudetto in the last weeks of the season, is another fairly respectable achievement that he should be revered for, but also he should get another chance. Like whether they win the Scudetto or not, I think a more fair assessment of Conte at Napoli would be after year 2.
I agree. I'm with you there, Rafa. I 100% agree with you. Again, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve another shot with a better summer market, seeing how he performs in Europe or Champions League, 100%. But I would like to just see players come on earlier, getting more of a chance, getting more time to try to create something. I mean, everybody is talking down on Simeone now. Why? I mean, the guy comes in the 85th minute. What can he do?
That's not good.
What can he do?
It's an over-reliance.
Raspadori was in a Conte system player. He comes on the field. He almost has a goal every starting appearance since this. Why
over rely? I feel like Conte over relies on Lukaku, which again, Lukaku's having by all intents and purposes, Lukaku's having a tremendous season for Napoli. And if it wasn't for Lukaku, Napoli wouldn't be anywhere near the top.
You're right.
But at the same time, when Lukaku's not showing, like, because there are games where Lukaku doesn't show it, right?
Right.
Maybe Simeone deserves more minutes.
A start here and there really wouldn't hurt the guy. And Lukaku coming off the bench for 30 minutes would probably do everybody some good. Because he can, listen, Lukaku 30 minutes of game time towards the second half, he can give his all, and he don't have to really worry about getting too tired. And I think it'll be super effective. That's all I'm trying to say. It's all right. I know he doesn't. I mean, just because we didn't replace Cavada, all of a sudden, nobody is worthy on that bench to come in and play. I don't agree with that. Maybe like Ngonge would be my least favorite substitute as of lately. But again, I'm not sure what his feelings are on the team too, like where he is mentally in his head. So it's like I'm trying to weigh it all out, and I don't put the blame fully on Conte. Again, when you have to adopt that mess, it's really hard. And he's done everything he can to kind of impose his will and get the team to where they need to be. Now, here I am talking shit about a coach at Napoli who are fighting for a Scudetto. And it's like, Ralph, what are you, nuts? But in my mind, I'm like, we should still be in first place right now. Why are we here now? Why are we chasing everything now when everybody was chasing us? And when you look at it, those past 7 games, that was the reason. Yeah. And when everybody was visibly tired, and when everybody was getting hurt in training. I mean, could we have avoided that? And that's what I'm trying to get at. Now, as far as Napoli goes, Napoli does require discipline, but they also require mentally to keep it all together. And that's been a big challenge for us this year, is to get back to that mentality. If Conte were to get I'm saying Conte question mark now because like he still needs to convince me that he could probably hold up this team to win an actual trophy.
Let me ask you this: if Napoli get a result against Bologna, not lose, so a draw. It's hard to say draw because we've drawn so many games in the last couple months, right?
Right.
But if Napoli get a result against Bologna on the road, do you still does that change your perspective of Conte? Like, does it swing it more towards Conte okay instead of Conte question mark? Or like, obviously if we win the game, boom, I mean, this is our essentially, in a perfect world on paper, this is our final tough game.
Right.
Everybody else after this is lower echelon. I mean, we've got pretty much already relegated Monza. We've got Parma coming up. That's at the same time, most of these teams are fighting for survival, but we should be able to come out on top of almost all of those games. Plus the schedule that we have versus the schedule Inter has. Now Inter play Parma on Saturday, but then they got Bayern Munich on Tuesday. You know what I mean? They just played Milan on Wednesday in the Coppa Italia. So, like, the games are coming hard and fast for them, and we're one game a week, and everyone's almost everyone's back to normal. So
it would definitely make up for it, Rafa. I mean,
if they get a result, yeah.
I got to see a W. I want them to win. I think
even a draw, like a impressive performance, but a draw.
A draw doesn't help us right now. We got to win. We can't drop points at this point. We need a win.
Okay.
We need it. That's if we want a scudetto. Now I have to kind of speak on trying to still win a scudetto. I'm not giving up. I'm not.
There's no reason to not speak about it. There's no reason to not speak about it.
Right, and I think Conte and this team could still achieve it if they keep it together. Now, with Neres back, with Anguissa coming back now, hopefully the Bocca stays fit. If the team is kind of back together, hey, we got the old guys back, and so we can then say, okay, well, Conte lost some of his starters, so we dipped in a little bit of form. It's the winter time, so we just needed a rebound from that. Then we can kind of say, okay, hey, we're back to normal, and we're gonna see the results again. Then I'm just gonna, I'll be a little bit more lenient on him. But
right,
if we snag another injury, or if we keep leaving exhausted players on the field, and then we drop points because of it, there's going to be another question mark in that hashtag,
Yeah.
And again, not because he's not a capable coach, but it's like, well, what are we doing here? We're doing this for one game a week, right? Like, I mean, I think this summer is going to be crazy. I'll be honest. We're going to practically see a new Napoli. I mean, already and also, hold on, before I go into the players, I also don't like the fact that I have to constantly read whether or not Conte is going to stay on this team.
Yeah, that's an annoying factor for me.
Because everybody is just buying into this journalistic crap. Is he going to leave? Is there rumors going, Juve wants him and Milan wants, everybody wants everybody. I get it this time of the year. I mean, I don't even think the writers of these articles want to even write this shit. Honestly, I read an interesting article, Rafa. It was like an opinion piece on somebody who was saying how the nature of writing has changed so much where you cannot be honest about things nowadays. You kind of have to just talk about the things that hit. So I really feel like when we're reading all these news, and this is why I almost prefer to listen to these independent Napoli podcasts when it comes to Napoli, whether it be Henry and Michele, whether it be Joe Fischetti or Dom or us even. Sometimes I'll just re-listen to us against try to make some sense of shit. But this is why I prefer how we have these other outlets that can give real opinions on what we're seeing in the team, as opposed to, going on to these online sites where they're just throwing names and teams and controversy.
regurgitating stuff.
It's not even
Yeah.
entertainment. It's like you're sending out worry and anxiety because that's what's attracting a people's attention. We're not educating anybody, and I just don't like it. And now we want to talk about Conte leaving. He hasn't even finished the season yet.
I
What is
think,
this?
honestly, in the depths of my soul, I truly believe Conte stays at least one.
I'm with you there. I think he stays. I don't think he has any reason to leave. We spent money last summer. We're going to spend money again this summer. He's going to get what he wanted. I mean, one can talk about, oh well, he wasn't satisfied with the January market. Oh well, it's the January market that we tried our best to get some players and we slipped up on some of it. But there's also a lot of surrounding factors that go into it that we, for whatever reason, we don't talk about. And there's new articles that come out, you know, how Al Hilal wanted an extra what was it, like over 10 million or some ridiculous number to break that contract for the loan. I had the Yemi wanted to stay in Borussia. Look at Garnacho. There was a stat that came in. He was one of the worst dribblers in the Premier League right now. So, you know, listen, we tried. Okafor was our fourth choice, and that's who we had to go with when everything else didn't work out. So, I don't know, but
I just don't. I don't want to put too much emphasis into the January transfer market because it's pointless to do that. It's pointless because we all know that we're going to have a better summer than we had in January.
right.
And to still be 3 points behind Inter, you know, okay, fine. We were in first place for most of the season. Yes, we were.
Mm-hmm.
But to still be 3 points behind Inter, you know, at this point of the season with 8 games left, we are officially more than 3/4 of the way through the season, and we're still competing for a scudetto. I mean, I can't blame January at all. It's stupid to do that. Very
Right.
stupid.
Right. Nobody could have anticipated all those injuries happening at once either, you know. So again, and that's why, like, I mean, I still kind of give Conte his respect because he had to do with what he had, and Napoli are still contending. Napoli are still fighting despite the dip in form that we saw in February. But I just want to make sure that we're not running these players ragged and everybody is there having a good time. Yeah, I believe that's how Napoli, you know, find their soul. I believe that's how Napoli produces their results when they're in it to win it. Now, there's a few games left, so I would certainly like to let that kind of pass and then reassess everything, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And again, Conte, in my opinion, Conte is doing what he can do with this team. It is remarkable. It is remarkable what he's doing with the team. But at the same time, I'm also not surprised. I'm not surprised that Conte took a team that was struggling back up to where it should be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I realize we lost a lot of players too, but Meret, Di Lorenzo, Oliveira, Juan Jesus, Lobotka, Anguissa, Politano, Raspadori, Simeone. These are guys that won the Scudetto with Napoli. These are
Right.
Scudetto winners. These are guys that have been playing on this team and that have credibility in this league and just lost their way for one season, and Conte got them back. He did the same thing at Juve. He did the same thing at Chelsea. He did the same thing at Inter. So it's very unfair, in my opinion, to put this all on Conte. And also, what are we really putting on him, right? We win one of those games we drew, and we're like 1 point out of the Scudetto race. And are we really talking about this? You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
and it sounds crazy. We sound crazy, but no,
It
I'm not
does.
putting just
No, no, no.
we're
And
not
I'm
putting it
not
all on him.
trying to say that you sound crazy because I feel like what you feel is valid, but at the same time, we really have to get past this season, whether we win the scudetto or not, and see what happens on the off season. Because that's another thing. Everybody and their mother are convinced that Conte is going to leave Napoli because of how ADL does his transfer, but his transfer moves. But you don't sign a guy like Conte and not agree to spend some money in the transfer market. This is a guy who demands players, who
Mhm.
demands the only place that really he had a big problem with was Tottenham, because Tottenham is a freaking disaster of a club anyway. You
Right.
know, he had a thing with the Inter management when and ownership when he was here, when he was at Inter. He had a thing with them. Okay, fine. He had a thing with Juventus. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean he's going to have the same thing at Napoli.
Right.
ABL knows that Napoli need to beef up for the Champions League to stay in the Champions League. He's not going to just settle for 1 year in the Champions League and then, okay, well, we made it to the Champions League, so he's already made that mistake once when we won the Scudetto.
Right.
But normally, see, that's the thing, is I almost prefer, I don't want to say this because people are going to take what I say and take it out of context. I want to win the Scudetto. Of course, I want to win the Scudetto as much as anybody does. But what happened when we won the Scudetto? This guy didn't spend money because he thought the team that did it could do it in the again
Right.
with whatever manager. He found out real quick that that's not the case. So hopefully we win the Scudetto this season. He knows, okay, we got to beef this team up for Europe, because I'm telling you right now, this is a team that's built to play one match a week, even if they're getting injured in training, even if they're tired at the end of games, even if this is still a team that's only built to play in one competition, and they're doing it, in my opinion, quite brilliantly. Am I
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This
No.
team cannot perform in three competitions the way it is built right now. So he knows he's got to get players whether they win the Scudetto or not. So that's going to be the telltale sign for me, is who's going to come in, who's going to go out, and what's Conte going to have at his disposal for year two.
100%. And that's going to be up to ADL to figure out, because I mean, listen, we're in the situation we're in not because of Conte, but in my opinion, because of ADL and what happened after that Scudetto season. I mean, we just lost something aside from players. We lost something, and I think Conte coming in is trying to put that back into the team. I just want to make sure this is not like a Gattuso situation where it's something to right the ship and then we're gonna like start. I want Conte to build a project for us that is sustainable and we can take on even when he's gone. And I know he's done it in the past. I just hope he's doing that right now, and I hope ADL is doing that right now, and they can achieve something together. Because I think Conte is a great coach, and I think Napoli's a great team. And when it all comes together, we're unstoppable. We create miracles out there. I just want to see that. Maybe those 7 games jaded me a little bit. Maybe seeing exhausted players on the field or injuries in training. I think all these jaded me a little bit, and it hurt my confidence. It hurt my trust, because again, I have a little PTS from last season still. So I need it to all come together, and I think maybe sniffing that Scudetto, being so close to it, and then dropping down when we could still be in first place right now, I think that messed me up. Because let's be honest, now that we've tasted what a Scudetto winning season is, we want it again. It's a delicious prime rib, and we want it again. And maybe slipping up. I don't want Napoli to be like, oh, I'm content with top 4, even though it's important to finish in top 4 if you're not going to win a Scudetto. I just want to know that we are big enough, strong enough mentally to actually follow through, finish what we started, and being winners in Italy, because I'm not sure if Napoli is prepared to go all the way in Champions League. I don't know when that's going to happen. Hopefully it happens soon. It could happen, but I don't know when. But winning in Italy is very realistic, and we've been close many years, decades now. And we need to continue that, because look how good it was for the team. Look how good it was for the city to actually become champions. And when you become champions domestically, you can attract good players, more money comes in, and we can continue to try to build up this dynasty almost, or create a dynasty. And I want that to manifest itself for Napoli. I want us to make sure we're going to have the right mentality and the right culture, that we can kind of do this year by year by year. And we're going to have a few slip ups every now and then, and that's okay. But I don't like this whole he's going to leave and it's bad mentally for the team. And we're very sensitive there. It's our Achilles heel. And I just want to make sure that we're all doing the right thing here. I want to make sure that we're building a project that is sustainable, and we're building a culture that is representative of the team and the city, because when we do that, we're going to see results. Now, we are in second place. We're fighting for a scudetto, so it's tough to say, but I feel like, we're on the edge always, and I want us to have a little bit more of that cushion. I'll be a little bit more comfortable. Maybe I'm spoiled, but I think if that's kind of what I'm looking for. But I think we can achieve it. I think we can.
I do too. I think again, Conte teams are usually left in good hands when he leaves, right? You saw the 3 seasons Conte was at Juventus, they won the Scudetto every season, and then they went ahead and won another 8.
Yeah.
Right? No, another 6, right? Allegri did 4 doubles in a row after that, went to 2 Champions League finals. Same thing with Chelsea. Chelsea finished 10th. Conte comes in, wins the league, and then they end up winning Champions League and this and that. Then you got, Inter. Inter, they come in, they go to the Europa League final, they win the Scudetto, and then he leaves, and here comes Simone Inzaghi, who goes to a Champions League final and wins the Scudetto. So it's like Conte knows how to set up a team, and Napoli know how to maintain a competitive team. So I think the combination of the two is going to set us up for success in the future. We've done it without Conte. We've done it without Mamna. We've done it in any DS we've had, any manager we've had. We've ended up in good hands. You can't really look back at this time with ADL and say this is a failure. 1 Scudetto's not enough. Da 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 da. How many second place finishes? How many European spots? How many European? It's unfair to say that we are notoriously not like left in shambles because of one season finishing in 10th place with a disaster. Once again, this was a season that we've never had to deal with before. 2023-24, we've never been defending champions before under ADL. It was brand new to us. So
Right.
it's not fair to assess it after that one, right? Because again, it's the same thing with Conte. You can't really assess too much after season 1. I think for me, it's season 2 and how we do. And again, like you said, you're right. We may not really do well in the Champions League. We may not do well in Europe with Conte. Typically, Conte teams don't fare well in Europe. They're not terrible, but they're not great either. But they always compete in Italy. And that's the measure I think we have to look at, is how they do in Serie A next season with Conte, with who's going to come in, and he's got a 3 or 4 year contract, right? Who's to say he doesn't stay another year after that?
Right.
It's
if
just
he gains
because
some success, I don't see why not.
Exactly, and it's in my opinion, we have the foundation right now. We just have to build on it. Once again, we have a team that plays one competition. I think that's what we intended on building this year, with the mentality. Okay, at some point we're going to sell Kvara. We did. We've got that money. It's in the bank already. At some point we're going to sell Osimhen. That's going to happen in the summer. We're going to get Champions League money. We might get Scudetto money. We might get, you know, you know what I mean? We're gonna be. We're gonna be in
Who
the
knows who
Super
else we're
Coppa
gonna
next year.
sell?
You
Right.
know, like
Right.
even if we finish second, we'll be in the Super Coppa next year. So it's like we've got the funds coming in, and we've got the system, and we've got the what's the word I'm looking for? We've got the we've proven that we're a team that can rebound from
Sure.
disappointment, right?
Yeah.
We've never really had to rebound from a 10th place finish, but we've had to rebound from the Ancelotti mess. We've
Yeah.
had to rebound from a lost scudetto in the hotel. We've
Yeah.
had to rebound from Higuain leaving. Like, we've had to rebound from all these situations that we always do it. And this season was no different. So I'm not as worried as everybody else is with Conte for next year, with Conte for the rest of the season, and honestly, with Conte leaving. He's not leaving. He's not. Just because Milan need a coach doesn't mean he's going to Milan. Just
Right.
because Juve need a coach doesn't mean he's going to Juve. That doesn't mean shit
Right.
to me.
Yeah. I think again, it's just all like clickbait and all that. But Raff, we got to give a beast of the match here before we wrap up the
Beast of
show.
the match. Oh, yeah,
Beast
that's right.
of
We
the match.
forgot all about beast of the match.
Beast of the match. I'm happy with it. I'm happy.
There
with
were
it.
a few. There were a few
There were a
shots,
few.
weren't there?
Yeah, there were. I think a lot of the players gave their all here, especially during these big games. They like to show up, but we're gonna give it to this guy because man, he was a monster. But anyway, here we are, folks. E per Napoli, la bestia della gara con il numero 4, Alessandro
Buongiorno.
Man, was he a force to reckon with? That
Yes,
game?
defensively, a force to reckon with. Won 8 duels. Just came up big defensively at the end of the game. Was part of the second goal.
Yeah,
was
had the hockey assist. Yeah.
Hockey assist on the second goal. For some reason, this guy stood out to me in this game, and I think he was massive. I think he deserved it. There were other players that definitely deserved it. You could look at Politano, who won man of the match. You could look at Lukaku, who scored that crazy goal. You could look at Gilmore, who came in and did well for McTominay, who got sick. You can look at Di Lorenzo. You can look at Medet. You can look at Medet. Yes. I think if the shot was better, like I'll bring it back again. If the shot was better by Santi Jimenez and he saved it, maybe I'd go Medet because he did make a few other saves in the game too. Mm-hmm. But I really think that the fact that Santi shot it way too, I don't know, lackluster. And any keeper guessing would have saved that. So it took a point away from me. But Buongiorno for me was just lights out defender, lights out.
He's proven from time and time again why he's probably currently the best player on this team. He's been a beast of a player all season. He'll probably win the Beast of the Year with us. Considering and even after his injury, he just comes back and it's like he didn't miss a step, and I love to see that. I think
that was credit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just love to see it. I love his enthusiasm, even when Politano scored. The way he was excited for him, his energy on the field. He really gives it all. He wants to stop that attack, like he really wants to stop the attack, and you can see it on the field. And if we had 11 Buongiornos on the field, we would have already clinched the scudetto. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna give some big props to Juan Jesus, because Juan Jesus, not for this game, but for the time Buongiorno was gone, Juan Jesus was tremendous back there. I know he made a few mistakes, but he was the reason we got Buongiorno back 100%. If Buongiorno had to rush back because we were a mess defensively, then we might not see this quality Buongiorno. But he really took his time to come back and fully healed. And I think that was massive by Juan Jesus and by Conte and the staff, like to recognize that Juan Jesus is doing a good enough job to keep Buongiorno at bay for a little bit, for me was huge. So I'm very happy in that regard as well. And I'm also really happy, like I said, Gilmore growing as a player, doing his thing while, Lobotka's injured or McTominay's hurt, sick or what have you. And then, you can always, you always like that you have some players that you can rely on off the bench, and that's where I was talking about earlier with Conte. Like there are some players that Conte will rely on all the time that can carry into next season,
Right.
but we have to build on that. We really do. We have to build on that.
Yeah. I just want him to rely on them in the 65th minute, maybe.
Yeah, I know. It was nice to see. It was nice to see that he recognized that Anguissa maybe didn't have the legs after 65 minutes, took him off for billing. I think that was nice to see that too. Because it's funny, because when he came off in the 65th, we were wrapping the party up, so Rocco kept watching. He goes, Anguissa off in the 65th for billing, and I said, what, did he get hurt? We thought he got hurt for some reason, but it turns out no, he wasn't hurt. He just probably didn't have the legs, and Conte did realize that. So I think that was, a rare moment, a rare early substitution, but it was good to see that he was like, okay, we have to make a change here, because it doesn't happen often, man. It doesn't.
No, I know. But we do win. We do claim the victory. So avanti così. Hopefully we can take this energy, this momentum, and bring it into Bologna, because it's going to be a tough match, guys. It's
Monday game. This game is Monday, and then the game against Empoli next week is also Monday.
Yeah.
So 2 straight Monday matches, and then a Saturday match against Monza, and then we'll see the rest of the schedule. I think they're waiting on the European fixtures to be finished. We got Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League coming up a week from today. It's Thursday that we're taping right now, Thursday. So a week from today, we have the first leg of all the European fixtures will be done, and then 2 weeks from today, the second fixtures will be done, and we'll know who's in the semifinals of each respective tournament. So I think that's what they're waiting for, to see what Inter does in Champions League, Lazio in Europa League, and Fiorentina in Conference League. But stay tuned. We'll get something done. Did you wanted to shout a buddy of yours out for
shout out to Tony.
Through,
right? Shout out to Tony Falco and his family. Tony Falco from Discord and his family for coming to the restaurant to see me. We were able to watch the game. I had the game up by the bar. And it was just good. It's rough, and we've experienced the same thing, you and I together, where it's like these are buddies of ours that we've been talking for years, and finally we get to meet. But it feels like you've just known them forever, and I really love that feeling of meeting people and just watching the community grow and gaining new friends, and they're just such good people. As well as the rest of the community. And I know Carmine from Toronto came down to Pizzatiello for the game this week. I just love seeing, even though I wish I was there, I had to work, I would have definitely loved to see Toronto. I believe
I missed him too, though, man. I missed him too.
Right? He left
yes.
Did he leave a scarf for me?
He did. So my son Jonathan lives in Pearl River. So on the way back from the party, I had to drop him off at his house. But before I did, we went into Pizzatiello. I introduced Jonathan, who doesn't come to our meets, but I introduced him to Dan Niz. Niz was there, yes, I missed Carmine by like an hour, but he left yourself, myself, and my dad a scarf, a Toronto club scarf, which is beautiful. I can't wait to see you to give it to you. But it sucks that we had to miss Carmine. It sucks. So we had to miss Vincenzo Bertillo when he came down for the Inter game we were in Italy for, but it does suck. But we have got to go visit them, Raffi. I think a trip to Toronto is warranted.
It's due, man. I mean, listen, I had the Napoli Club Toronto beanie
yes, you did
throughout the Napoli trip.
All throughout the trip, dude. And another thing, I need to get a hat. And Carmine, if you're listening to this, man, that hat that you gave to Niz, I need that hat, dude. I'm telling you right now, Niz was wearing a hat. I think I have a picture, Ralph. I'll send it to you. I snapped a picture of me and Niz when I was there.
Okay.
The hat is dope. It's a dope hat, and I need it. So Carm, if you're listening, get one ready for us.
Yeah, get that drip ready. We're coming for it.
We'll come up soon.
But guys, that's all the time we have. Great show as always, Raffa. Appreciate it.
Yes, same to you, my friend. Same to you. I'm looking forward to this Monday. Oy. You got your Bologna Coppa Italia bet still alive.
Yep.
You got
I
big
still got
weekend.
Napoli.
You got Napoli too. Yep, that's alive too. Yep.
So avanti così. Looking forward to this Monday, guys. But until then, Forza Napoli sempre.
Sempre. Ciao, guys.
Guys, ciao.